Here's a look at the stories you won't want to miss on this edition of Carolina Week.
The clock is ticking and campus elections are almost here. Find out what the candidates are doing in the final stretch to get those votes.
And coming up on Carolina Week Sports, find out if the women's gymnastics team took home its third straight Governor's Cup.
Think commercials are just an excuse to take a break from the main action? Not when it's Super Bowl Sunday.
Plus, we'll take a look at your 4-day forecast.
All that and more.
Carolina Week starts now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening. Welcome to the February 7th edition of Carolina Week. I'm Courtney Robinson.
And I'm Nora Warren. Tonight's top story, candidates for many positions are making their final push before elections on Tuesday. They kicked publicity up a notch in the pit with students biking and dancing to get recognition for their candidates. Some even played Foursquare with campaign signs in hand. Students can vote Tuesday between the hours of 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. Now, it might be difficult to keep up with all the candidates running for office on UNC's campus, but senior class president candidates are trying their best to set their campaigns apart. Reporter Erica Hyder has that story.
Get involved! Get in!
Catchy campaign slogans, holding up posters, and passing out flyers have always been traditional methods of campaigning. But senior class president candidates Bobby Wisnett and Madison Perry have both come up with creative ideas to try to pull in more votes. Perry and his running mate have constructed a house out of cardboard. They intend to live in the house during 24-hour periods in the lower quad.
The idea is sleep in the quad in our cardboard house and show the dedication to the class and the dedication to the recycling initiatives.
Wisnott has found an alternative to buying costly campaign buttons.
We have these clothespins that say Bobby and Jenny get in, and we use these instead of the conventional buttons or pins because we felt like they would stick out.
With so many different elections occurring on campus, the candidates believe it's important that their messages reach the crowds through these original strategies.
We're just trying to do things in new, different, creative ways.
Junior Adjo Adolfo has closely followed the senior class elections and believes both sets of candidates are successfully voicing their platforms.
They've both been very informative about what they're about. I feel like they've been very visible.
With both candidates actively vying for votes, it should make for an exciting race. I'm Erica Hyder, Carolina Week.
Be sure to vote for senior class president as well as all of the other candidates Tuesday on Student Central.
And Nora, with campaigning in full swing, candidates are out making sure your vote is for them. Potential voters aren't the only ones keeping an eye on the campaign signs and flyers. The Board of Elections is working hard to make sure potential voters are following the rules. The board has issued just 5 fines this election season, compared to 20 this time last year. BOE Chairwoman Heather Sidden says this difference is because not all of the candidates learned from last year's mistakes.
I think the Board of Elections as a whole this year is a lot more informed than they were last year about policies and the candidates platforms, and they're really trying to have everyone be really vigilant.
If you see any election violations, email the BOE at boardofelections@unc.edu. Now, students aren't just voting for officers Tuesday. There's also a referendum on the ballot to raise student fees to support what's called green energy. Reporter Lily West has the details.
Green energy, or renewable energy, is energy that comes from inexhaustible sources. It's an alternative to fossil fuels that uses sources like the sun and wind to create heat and electricity. The referendum on Tuesday's ballot would raise student fees $4 each semester to fund green energy projects on campus. A supporter of the hike, Nathan Poslusny, says he thinks renewable energy is a good use of student fees.
All the money goes to the programs. We have no overhead costs, and we're having success.
Speaker of Student Congress, Charlie Anderson, agrees. Anderson says that even if you oppose green energy, there is another reason to support the referendum.
$4, the cost of basically a Happy Meal per semester,
brings so much prestige to this university and makes us a leader in the Southeast.
For some like Anderson, $4 may not seem like much. At Alpine Bagel, that's 1 fruit cup, 1 bagel, or 2 cookies a semester. But others are more skeptical of the fee increase.
President of UNC's Collegians for a Constructive Tomorrow, Chris Wampler, opposes the referendum. He was unable to be on camera, but wrote in an email, "Students hear green energy and are told it is good for the environment without consideration for costs or efficiency. We should at least educate ourselves more before we vote for such things." The first green energy referendum passed in 2002. The money raised will fund solar hot water panels for Morrison Dorm. In Chapel Hill, I'm Lily West, Carolina Week.
If approved, the fee will last 4 years. Students would then have to renew it with another referendum.
You can get your full election coverage right here from the Carolina Week News team. We'll be on the air from 9 until 11 Tuesday night, or later if it takes a while to count the votes.
A familiar face from last year's presidential campaign will start answering to the title Professor here at UNC starting next Monday. John Edwards, John Kerry's running mate, will head UNC's newly created Center on Poverty, Work, and Opportunity. One of his campaign themes last year was helping the poor move up the economic ladder, which is also the goal of the new center. The former U.S. Senator from North Carolina earned his law degree here at UNC in 1977. Edwards and his wife Elizabeth will move into their Chapel Hill house this spring.
Student safety has been a hot topic ever since a shooting on Rosemary Street Saturday night. Franklin Street is the social center for Carolina students, especially on weekends. Someone shot a Durham man at the Bank of America parking deck just a block from campus. Student Keller Dunway was an eyewitness to the event.
Well, it kind of happened really fast, so we didn't really have a reaction. It was just kind of get away as fast as you can.
The Chapel Hill police have said these things rarely happen and that no students were harmed. Now, homelessness might be more visible in Chapel Hill,
but it's a problem that's affecting the town of Hillsborough, too. Find out how the town's planning board is tackling the issue.
Mrs. Abruzzo, I'm Ed McMahon, and we're signing up people for...
Yes,
I am. Yeah. Mr. Murphy, Ed McMahon. We're starting up... No.
Dreams really do come true.
Dinero! No.
Yes,
Ed McMahon, see.
Ed McMahon.
Yes, Ed McMahon. We're having our first
Ed
ever...
McMahon.
Yes. Tuesday night at the high school. We're starting up the neighborhood watch in this area, and here's all the information.
Stevie, get down here, please.
No, it's just
5, 6, 7, 8.
No tango de neighborhood watch. We're having this neighborhood watch, the first one. Right.
Larry, put some pants on.
I'll come back.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Start a neighborhood watch. It's just one of the many ways you can help make America stronger. To find out how, call or log on for this free guide.
While controversy continues to surround plans to relocate Chapel Hill's homeless shelter, one nearby town is debating building its first shelter. Reporter Erin Macbeth has that story.
Downtown Hillsborough has all the warmth and charm of a small North Carolina town. But a new decision by the town's planning board is leaving some residents out in the cold. The board voted Tuesday night to postpone a proposal to allow homeless shelters to operate in town. Unlike Chapel Hill, Hillsborough has never had a shelter of its own. And although the homeless population might not be as visible as Chapel Hill's, Hillsborough resident Emily Pratt says there is a problem and it needs to be addressed.
And this particular guy that I'm thinking of, I don't know him, but every day on the way to work, I see him out on the streets and my heart just bleeds because he has no place to put his head at night. And if we had a shelter here, we'd all be doing him a favor and helping someone for a change.
Other Hillsborough residents don't see a problem at all.
But it's not obvious to me that we have a serious population of homeless here. We're around a lot, and I certainly haven't seen much evidence of homeless here.
Prior to last month's meeting, the planning board drafted an ordinance to address the issue that currently prevents a homeless shelter from being built. But according to board member Bryant Warren, the board decided Tuesday to put the proposal on hold for at least 3 additional months.
And in fact, all of us on the planning board
feel like that's something we do need. We do need something like that in Hillsborough, but we just need to make sure it's right. All the I's are dotted and all the T's are crossed before we ever go along with it.
Warren says the board plans to look especially close at a provision that would allow a homeless shelter to be built within 1,000 feet of commercial property. Board members are riding the fence on the issue. One of their biggest concerns is that a shelter could be built right here in the town's historic district. According to Warren, it's clear the homeless situation here needs to be addressed. It's unclear when or how that will happen. In Hillsborough, I'm Erin Macbeth, Carolina Week.
The Hillsborough Planning Board will meet next month, but the next time the issue will be addressed publicly will be in April.
A student environmental group says passion is great, but it's organization that gets things done. The group Surge, Students United for a Responsible Global Environment, hosted its second conference this past weekend. This fair was one of the features. One of the coordinators, Emily Hedrick, says progressives need organized events such as this.
The skill of organizing is something that, the progressive movement needs more of. It needs people that are impassioned, but it also needs people who can get the logistics down.
Representatives from more than 150 progressive organizations showed up. And when Chapel Hill business owners thought their luck had run out, Orange County and the town of Chapel Hill came to the rescue. 3 weeks ago, local business owners thought they'd be responsible for hauling empty cardboard boxes to dump sites themselves. The Downtown Commission's agreement with a private hauler ended last week. Businesses were facing the expensive option of renewing the contract collectively at $10,000 per year. But now, Orange County and the town of Chapel Hill have stepped up, offering once-a-week pickups at 2 sites in downtown Chapel Hill. Orange County Solid Waste began weekly pickups last Tuesday.
Another issue is getting people up and running. More than 400 runners got an early start Saturday morning at the Franklin Street 5K. The annual event is coordinated by the Zeta Tau Alpha sorority. Proceeds go to benefit the Susan G. Komen Foundation for Breast Cancer. Runners and volunteers wore pink ribbons in honor of breast cancer victims. Race coordinator Lee Brown says breast cancer awareness is an important cause because the disease affects so many people.
They say that 1 in 6 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and so it affects everyone. I feel like everyone can say they had a family member or a friend's family member who has been affected by breast cancer, so I feel like it's extremely important.
Spectators showed runners their support along the course. After the race, participants enjoyed music and refreshments provided by local sponsors. This was the 16th year for the race. Coordinators expect to raise more than $24,000. It's a lot of money. And speaking of races, the race to be the most visited search engine on the internet is on, and it looks like Google has some competition.
That's right, Courtney. Microsoft is launching a new search engine. The world's largest software maker, Microsoft Corporation, has unveiled its new search engine called MSN Search. Users will be able to search the web for news, images, music files, and encyclopedia articles. MSN Search will compile its results from a database index of more than 5 billion web documents and pages. ITS lab attendant Will Leonard says he was unaware that MSN Search even existed.
I have not yet heard of a new upgrade to the MSN search engine. I usually use Google because it's the primary search engine on the internet, and I think that the MSN page definitely has a lot of potential to succeed because Microsoft has been able to do very well with other technologies.
Microsoft's corporate vice president, Youssef Mehdi, says Microsoft will market its search engine through a marketing campaign directed at online users as well as television viewers. Microsoft has revamped its MSN.com web portal to make its search engine more prominent, and they've also tweaked the site's content and advertising to remove the clutter.
Weathercaster Aaron Moore joins us now.
That's right, Aaron. It's been so warm and beautiful outside. How long is that going to continue?
It's been gorgeous, and we should see it for the next couple of days. Find out if the sun will keep shining through the week when we return with your 4-day forecast.
Let's talk about dying. Everybody's got to do it, but nobody wants to talk about it. So talking about organ donation is even harder, especially with your family. Because to talk about that, you gotta admit you're gonna die. And that's hard. Maybe people think if they don't talk about it, it won't happen. You know what? That's exactly what happens with organ donation. If you don't talk to your family about it, it won't happen. Yeah, it's kind of creepy, maybe weird, but you get to give the biggest gift in the whole world, life. So this is what I think. Organ donation is not about dying. It's about living. Talk to your family about living. Talk to your family about donating life.
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm weathercaster Erin Moore here with a check of your weather headlines. Well, we've been seeing above normal highs for the last couple of days, and that looks like it's going to continue as we head into the middle of the work week. And then on Wednesday, we're going to see a cold front that passes through. We're going to see a slight chance for a shower late in the day or possibly Wednesday night into Thursday. Behind that cold front, our temperatures are going to be cooling off as we head towards the weekend, but bringing us just back to normal temperatures for this time of year. Low 50s and lows in the low 30s, possibly even into the upper 20s. As we look at the satellite map, we can see this is the big swath of moisture that's going to be heading our way that's associated with that cold front. There is a high pressure system located just over the mid-Atlantic states, and that's sort of going to block the moisture from getting to us. So this looks a lot more ominous than it actually is going to be. We really just will see a possibility for a shower on Wednesday. Back behind it, we can see there's more high pressure, and that's going to clear out our skies as we head into the weekend. So as we look at the forecast map, we can see, again, here's that low pressure system and the cold front and the moisture that's associated ahead of it. It's going to break up as it comes through here because of this high pressure system. The winds are just blocking it from heading into our area. So as we go to the 4-day forecast, we can see our temperature on Tuesday is going to reach a high of 64. Now we're going to see some mostly cloudy skies, so normally our temperature wouldn't get up that high. But because of we have a southwesterly flow in the mid-levels, and that's going to keep the warm weather coming into our area. On Wednesday, we've got just a chance for a shower. This looks a lot worse than it actually is going to be. Our high is going to be about 62 degrees with a low of 43. On Thursday, we should see a high of about 53, and those skies clear out, and it's going to be mostly sunny with a low of 36. And on Friday, again, our high is about 49 degrees with a low of 29 and mostly sunny skies as we head into the weekend. So as we look at this week last year, our second week in February last year, 2004, our average high was about 50 degrees and our average low was about 33 degrees, and we had 0.6 inches of precipitation. So it was very normal last year, and this week we're going to be above normal. So it's kind of nice for this time of year. They've been saying that we're going to have a very brutal winter, and we're just not quite seeing that.
And I'm so glad to hear that. I see those 60s. The rain's got me down a little bit, but those 60-degree temperatures, I love them.
The rain really shouldn't be too terrible. So, okay.
Well, thanks, Erin. Thank you. Wes Wilson joins us now to talk about a little bit about sports. And Wes, sorry for all the Eagles fans out there, but go Pats. Super Bowl last night was amazing. Not just for the commercials.
So did you watch all of it or just parts of it?
I was actually on my way back from New Orleans, so I caught from halftime on.
I was the opposite. I fell asleep during the end.
Fell asleep? All right, well, enough of that. On to the real sports now. All right, last year the Hills suffered a late game collapse in Tallahassee. Would the Noles pull the upset this year? Not if Rashad McCants has anything to say about it.
Recycling a glass bottle saves enough energy to run the TV you're watching for 1 full hour. Recycle. It's the everyday way to save the world. Making a can from recycled aluminum instead of from raw materials reduces air pollution by 95%. Recycle. It's the everyday way to save the world. Recycling all our Sunday papers would save over 500,000 trees a week. Recycle. It's the everyday way to save the world.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Welcome back to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Wes Wilson. I know all you guys out there want me to start with something about Carolina and Duke, but first you got to wait just 1 minute. The Tar Heel men's basketball team has avenged losses at Virginia and Clemson this season, but would the Heels be able to avoid the upset in Tallahassee and avenge last season's collapse? At first, the Noles had the Heels falling all over themselves, so the Heels turn up the D. Rashad says, "Not in this house." Well, your house. Jackie Manuel doesn't want to be left out and invites himself to the block party. The Heels are up 9 at the break, but Roy's not happy. That's because he knows the Noles can do this. This may look like the exact same shot 4 times in a row, and well, it is. The Noles pull within 1 point after 4 consecutive threes, but the Heels come right back. Felton to McCants. That's so bad, it's good. Then McCants again. There'll be no collapse in tally this year as the Heels go on to win 81-60. And if you're already thinking about the huge matchup Wednesday between Carolina and Duke, trust me, you're not the only one. Carolina Week cameras trudged through terrain few Tar Heels have ever ventured. Shesheskyville. Senior Ben Burnham, resident of tent number 1, has been camped out here since New Year's Eve and even has his own sponsor, Dick's Sporting Goods. Number 2 camper Ken McClellan says living out of a tent is worth it to be a part of the greatest rivalry in college basketball.
I'm a huge basketball fan. This is pretty much the only way you get like good seat for Carolina, so I was like, gotta do it.
Tune in on Wednesday when we have a special Carolina Duke report. How does the ticket distribution process at each school differ? Is one better than the other? Sports reporter Ann Sexton will visit both Cameron Stadium and the Smith Center to find out. Well, the rivalry between Carolina and Clemson may not be as intense as the rivalry with Duke, but when women's coach Sylvia Hatchell has a chance for her 400th home win, let's just say the gloves were coming off. The Tigers were no match for the lethal combo of Ivory Latta and Arlene Larkins. Latta has her first steal of the night, and Larkins finishes with this easy layup. Ivory Latta steals the ball again, moves quickly down the court, and draws the hard foul right here. Larkins has a great block, showing her total domination on the court. Little to Larkins, who had 2 points inside the paint. Larkins had a career-high 24 points, showing her game's improving.
In the beginning, I can say I really didn't. There were some games where I didn't give it my all. It might didn't, sometimes it didn't look like it, but I just think I'm going all out until I can't give any more.
The 99-55 victory, that's 44 points if you're counting at home, gave Coach Sylvia Hatcher her 400th win as Carolina's head coach. The Tar Heels hit the road as they faced the Virginia Cavaliers Monday night at 7. While the women's basketball game was like highway robbery, the women's gymnastic team has a bit more of a challenge. The Lady Tar Heels and NC State teamed up, actually, against Maryland and Towson in the 10th Annual Governor's Cup. The Heels left their mark on the vault with junior Courtney Bumpers taking first place, but the ladies couldn't keep their heels on the balance beam and fell to 3rd in that event. That left a sour taste in this fan's mouth. Luckily, senior Olivia Trusty nailed a 9.9 on the uneven bars, her second highest score ever. And 3 ladies tied for 2nd place on the floor as the Heels clinched 1st in that event. Trusty says success comes from practicing just like they're in a meet. UNC won the 1st place trophy for the 3rd straight time.
Doing repetitions in the gym, and so that's been really helpful to just keep on going through them and pretending like.
UNC won the 1st place trophy for the 3rd straight time and the 4th in 5 years. Together, bitter rivals Carolina and NC State beat the 2 Maryland schools to keep the trophy here in North Carolina. Well, while the gymnastics team is back in full swing, the men's lacrosse team, ranked 5th this preseason, is just now getting underway. And if the Heels keep playing like this, their pint-sized bandwagon might continue to grow as even the little guys came out to watch. The Heels showed no mercy on defense here, knocking and pushing the competition and leaving the Heels with 3 wins against Greensboro College, Lynchburg, and Limestone. Freshman Ryan Walterhofer showed off his ball handling skills, while number 14 Ryan Blair contributed with 7 goals and 1 assist. The Heels hope their aggressive playing style will allow them to tumble competition to the ground this year with a season opener 3 weeks from now. The 26th ranked men's tennis team must have been feeling a little homesick after losing 2 straight on the road. The Heels looked to stop their slide with 2 matches at home Saturday. Carolina invited 0-3 Campbell over for the early match. The Heels thanked the Camels for stopping by and quickly showed them the door, winning 6-1. The Heels swept all 3 doubles matches and 5 of the 6 singles matches. Number 66, Ryan Lechich's struggles continued, though. He was the only Tar Heel to lose against the Camels. Heels' dominance at home continued in the nightcap against James Madison. I'm not quite sure. I think this either means hi, Mom, or help. The Heels didn't need any help pounding the Dukes with a certain stepchild with red hair. Carolina swept all 3 doubles matches and all 6 singles matches in straight sets. The Heels usurped the Dukes 7-zip. Coach Sam Paul says he's pleased with his team's play.
Last week's competition, and what we got to get better at, and got to get better quickly, So did some things a little bit better today.
The Heels hit the court next against Minnesota on Friday. And the track and field team must have taken notice of the tennis team because on Saturday they spent time achieving some remarkable numbers of their own. Even though it's early in the season, 4 members of the team have already qualified for the NCAA Indoor Championship. The Heels' success came from 4 events: high jump, women's 60-meter hurdles, and men's and women's weight throw, where Laura Garrity, like always, was near the top. But Garrity looked a little unhappy and frustrated with her second-place finish.
I had the energy, but I didn't have the focus. I didn't put the technique together today, and I was frustrated because that's part of learning how to compete, or part of knowing how to compete is how to be, energized and excited and ready to go, but how to be focused at the same time. And
the Heels next hit the track Friday at the Virginia Tech Challenge. Well, guys, a lot of sports, but I'm so looking forward to that Duke game on Wednesday. What about you?
I am. Did you guys get tickets to the Duke game during distribution?
I did. I had to wait in line for a little while. I didn't have the greatest number, but I'm so excited now that I did.
Got you all beat. I got risers.
Oh. Well, I'm boycotting basketball, and last night's football was very refreshing. I didn't get tickets to Duke game. Super Bowl Sunday, some like it for the football, some like it for the food.
And some like it for the funny commercials. Find out which ones were a hit and which ones were duds when we return.
Right on time, guys. Not your fault. It's a 2-shot at the end, right?
We understand. We can hear.
Awaken your creativity. Do your thing at the Art School at the Art Center in Carborough.
Daddy, why is the sky blue?
Well, to match your pretty eyes.
Nope, not even close. See, all colors have wavelengths that are diffused by oxygen and nitrogen. Since blue is the shortest wavelength, it's diffused up to 10 times more.
Who taught you that?
Mommy?
By age 12, too many girls lose interest in math and science and their chance at future jobs. Keep her interest alive.
Know why mathematics is the basis of life as we know it?
You tell me.
It's her future. Do the math.
Well, as everyone knows, the Super Bowl is about more than football, beer, chips, and wings. It's about the commercials. Carolina Week reporter Rhonda Evans has the good, the bad, and the just plain ugly of Super Bowl commercials.
If you're not a huge football fan, you probably look forward to the Super Bowl for the commercials. But it seems like this year's batch of ads were an overall letdown for many students.
No, I didn't think they were racy enough. It didn't really hold my attention very long.
That wasn't funny to me. That wasn't funny.
Despite disappointing ads, there were a few commercials that did catch viewers' eyes.
I like the Pepsi commercials where Puff Daddy, where they all copied him trying to drive the big Pepsi truck, and Carson had the monster Pepsi truck that he drove around. So I thought that was pretty funny.
The Bud Light commercial, it was funny. And the bear danced and the bear talked, and then the bear kicked Burt Reynolds in the groin, and that, that's what kind of put it over the top. That was by far the best commercial.
I like the commercials that honored the troops.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Rhonda Evans, Carolina Week.
Well, y'all, I definitely love the one with all of the NFL players when they were singing Tomorrow from Annie.
The ones that didn't make it to the Super Bowl?
Yes, I thought that one was hilarious when they did the backflips and everything. Wes, I know that you're a sports fan, so you definitely had some that you loved.
Well, I kind of like the one with the cat where they held the cat up after it knocked over the spaghetti. But a lot of them were funny. I didn't necessarily agree that they were a bad crop this year.
I know. Nora, you like the one. You agree?
I like the one with the soldiers. That was my favorite.
Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.
Night.